Hello, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I am going to discuss about the computer programming laboratory experiments, understanding and simulation. So here I am discussing about the second program, that is develop a C program to compute the roots of quadratic equation by accepting the coefficients and print appropriate message on the screen. So now let us understand what is the problem statement clearly. So here, first we should understand the basics of quadratic equation, that is ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, and the values of three coefficients, that is a, b, c of the quadratic equation. So here what we do, the coefficients what we have entered will form a quadratic equation or not, and depends upon that it will take a decision whether the roots of the quadratic equation can be calculated or the entered if value doesn't form a quadratic equation. Then we say that the entered coefficients will not form a quadratic equation. Otherwise, we will calculate the discriminant value of the quadratic equation, and depends upon the value of discriminant, we will understand what is the nature of the roots of the quadratic equation, right? So first we find out the given coefficient form the quadratic equation or not. Later we need to compute the discriminant to understand the nature of the roots, and finally we use a quadratic equation formula to find out the quadratic equation, the roots of the quadratic equation. Now let us start the basic understanding of the quadratic equation. So what is quadratic equation? A quadratic equations are a second degree algebraic expressions and are of the form ax square plus b equal to 0. So here it is a standard form of the quadratic equation. A is a coefficient of the x square and b is a coefficient of x and c is a constant value. So this is a standard format of the quadratic equation. Here the first condition for an equation to be a quadratic equation is the coefficient of x square, that is a must be what here, non-zero. If this is equal to 0, then this particular part becomes what here, evaluated to 0. So therefore our expression becomes, that is bx plus c equal to 0. Then what happens, this is not said to be what here, the quadratic equation, right? So now how to solve manually the quadratic equation using quadratic formula. So the solutions to the quadratic equation can be calculated using a quadratic formula. So that is x equal to minus b plus or minus under the root b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So the discriminant value will tell us what is the nature of the root. So here, so depends upon the value of the discriminant. So there are three types of the roots are possible. Suppose if the discriminant value, that is b square minus 4ac is positive, then we get to know that two distinct real roots are possible. Then afterwards what we do, we will compute the roots by using this particular formula. And if the b square minus 4ac is equal to 0, then we get just two equivalent real roots are possible. So in first case, the roots are what here? Distinct and real. In a second case, two equal and real roots. If b square minus 4ac is less than 0, that is negative, then we say that no real roots are possible. Then this is called as what here? Complex solutions. So this is about what here? The quadratic equation. So here we have to first understand what values we have to supply as a coefficient, and after that we have to calculate the discriminant value, and depends upon the discriminant value we have to compute the roots of the quadratic equation using quadratic formula. So now let us see a few examples here. See, this is a general format of the quadratic equation, and this is what here? Quadratic equation formula for calculating the roots. So let us assume this equation: a equal to what here? 9, b equal to minus 12, and c equal to 4. So after this, what we do? We will calculate b square minus 4ac. So substitute the value of b, that is 12 square minus 4 into 9 into 4, that is 4 into the value of a is 9 and value of c is 4. So after evaluating, this becomes how much here? 144 minus 144, that is what here? 0. So this is a discriminant value. So if it is equal to 0, the discriminant value is equal to 0, then we say two equal and real roots. So now let us consider this example. So here, after evaluating the expression, then we get how much here? 49. Then we say that in this particular expression, there are two distinct real roots are possible. So here, last example, after evaluating, so we are getting minus 7. So no real roots are possible here. So this is about what here? The basics of the quadratic equation. So now what we do, let us implement a program. So here we have taken three variables. So the first three variables represent the coefficients of the quadratic equation, right? So this is a coefficient of x square, and this is the coefficient of x, and this is what here? Constant value. And to store the two roots, for that we are using r1 first variable and r2 as a second variable. So next what we do, we ask the user to enter the coefficients of a quadratic equation. So when a user enters the value of a, b and c, then these values will be uh, read from the keyboard, and those values will be stored in a and b and c variables. So here what happens, as soon as these variables are declared, a memory locations will be constructed. So like this, a, b, and this is a memory location for c, and for r1 another memory location will be constructed, for r2 another memory location will be constructed, right? Say for example, if user enters a, a coefficient as a 9, minus 12 and 4, then what happens? The 9 will be stored in A, minus 12 is stored in B, and 4 will be stored in C here, with the help of what here? The scanf statement. So what is next? So first we have to check whether the quadratic equation can be possible or not. Okay, first we have to check whether the given coefficients will form the quadratic equation or not. So for that, we have to check the value of a, whether the value of a is equal to 0 or what. If it is equal to 0, then we say that the given coefficients doesn't form a quadratic equation, right? So now, what is the value of a here? 9 we are having. So therefore, we will write it in the if condition here. Okay. So here what happens? The value of a is how much here? 9. 9 not equal to 0. Yes, this condition is what here? Not satisfied. Then the quadratic equation can be formed. Okay. So if it is formed, next what we do? We will find out the discriminant value to understand the nature of the roots. Okay. So next what we do? We will compute the discriminant value here. Okay. So that is d equal to, so d equal to what here? B square minus 4ac. Okay, this expression is written in a c in this way. Okay, so here what happens? What is the value of b? The value of b is, that is, minus 12 bracket square minus 4 into, what is the value of a? That is 9 into 4 here. Okay, so this is equal to, so minus, sorry, 144 minus 144. Okay, so this is 0. What is the value of d? The value of d is what here? 0. Okay, so next what we do? We have to check the value of d. Okay, depends upon the value of d, we will take a decision whether roots are equal or distinct, or it is a imaginary. Okay, so next what do? We check the value of d here. So what is the value of d? The value of d is 0. Okay, so 0 greater than 0. So this condition is not satisfied. Then what happens? This particular if block will not be executed. This will be skipped. Okay, so next what happens? Uh, it will go to this next else block here. Okay, so here what happens? What is the value of d? The calculated value of d is equal to 0. So 0 equal to 0. Yes, this condition is satisfied. If this condition is satisfied, then whatever the statements which are present in this block are going to execute here. So these are the formulas to compute the roots of the quadratic equation. That is, say R1 equal to what here? Minus b divided by 2a, and R2 is equal to what here? It is also same, that is minus b divided by 2a. So therefore, once again, to compute the root of the R2, we are just assigning what value already which has been completed in a previous step to what here? R2. Then we are displaying the root R1 and R2 here. Okay, with the help of printf statement. Okay, so what happened here? According to the coefficients what we have entered, uh, according to the discriminant value what which has been which was calculated, so depends upon that this particular block was executed. Okay, so here we have another block here. So this is for when the roots are say imaginary. Okay, see, if the root is, if the discriminant value is greater than 0, first if block will be executed. If it is equal to 0, then this particular block will be executed. If it is less than 0, then roots are what here? Imaginary. So therefore this particular block will be executed. And at last what we do? We will uh, say uh, the calculation of the quadratic equation has been completed here. Okay, so here we have written in a else statement that the given coefficients do not form the quadratic equation. So this else part will be executed only when the first if condition, right? So that is a is not equal to 0. If it is not satisfied, then what happens? This will be executed. Okay, so this is about what here? The equation, uh, uh, quadratic equation, and how roots are calculated. So now what we do? We will execute the program using code blocks IDE, and we will check whether that implemented program will work correctly or not, right? So I will take these coefficients values for our reference, and we will check. Okay, so already the same program has been written here. Okay, so I will just run the program, right? So before that, we will look at the program once again, whether it is same as it have explained or not. Okay, so yeah, it is absolutely right. Similar program what I have experienced. So let me, so then I will click on run button, right? So the first coefficient values I will give as a what here, say 9, right? So this is a value of a, and minus 12, and I will give what here. So these are the, right. So here what happened? Uh, uh, the given coefficients form the quadratic because it's what it is not equal to 0. And here it is roots of 12 because b square minus value is 0. Okay. So now what we do, we will take another set of the values, that is uh, a equal to 2, b equal to minus 9, and c equal to 4. So once again, I will execute this program. Yeah. What is the value? Uh, 2 minus 9, 4. Yeah. 2 minus 9, 4. So here, yeah, this is from the value is what, 2, but the real and distinct. Okay. And will give these values, that is 2, 5, 4. So once again, I will execute this program. 2, 5, see here. Uh, this will quadratic equation imaginary, right? And one more time, I will. So now what I do, I give a value of e 0, so minus 12. 4. The given coefficient do not form the quadratic equation because the x square part becomes 0. Okay. So thank you for watching this video.